Traders War Room proudly presents the daily video with the best trading and investing alerts anywhere on any platform. With up-to-date stock, chart, and market news, TWR is simply your one-stop shop. Wednesday SITREP. Activate your 2-day trial of TWR All Access on the Discord platform. We cover it all at Traders War Room, whether you're looking for stocks, options, futures, Forex, crypto, or even sports betting, or you want real-time alerts, live trading, algo signals, or even if you just want to be part of a community of like-minded investors to grow, learn, and share together as a team. Something for everyone at Traders War Room. Activate your 2-day trial today and go to war with TWR. Stay tuned at the end for TWR Hot Products and Services. Alert update. First, I want to talk about a couple risky trades. Now, remember, we get a lot of trades right, but sometimes we get the wrong trade, and I want to be transparent, and I want to show you guys these trades. Look at this SPY call that I made on the 417 call. It's a little far out the money, and we didn't get to push after the minutes came out from the CPI data. And so this is definitely looking really, really rough right now. My average is 19 and it's way below that. So we need a significant push tomorrow to come out of this live. So this is probably going to expire worthless. The Apple one, it's a little bit better though. Position is at 20. We got a decent average down on this one, and we're hoping that this has a little bit more time to recover and we get a significant bounce from some bottom pressure on Apple. So we'll see what happens with these, but definitely cheaper contracts, so the risk versus reward was there. However, definitely risky, as these could easily expire out of the money and worthless. Wanted to highlight one of Shiner's trades today. He ended up taking a pretty decent quick kind of day trade. I won't call this a scalp. It's a little bit longer than a scalp, but he ended going with the 405 puts, entered in at 227, came out at 251. That's good for $48 on the day with those particular contracts. So a decent day trade right there while you're wading through the chop that was happening throughout the market. TLM, one of our analysts, he had a fantastic trade on Microsoft. Look at this trade. Entered in a Microsoft 287 call at 121. Was able to run this all the way to 207, and of course sending that alert out to let people know to either take the profits or raise the stops above that break-even point and take that money. AP had a nice cheap trade for the lighter side of the people out there. Dallas went with the 32.5 put in at 36 and ended up trimming out at 16%. This was a swing trade, so we'll see what this one ends up pulling out tomorrow. They got earnings here coming up. Our crypto expert keeps killing it at crypto. Look at this trade on Sol, 43%. Who said crypto's dead, man? You don't just have to trade Bitcoin. You can trade the other tokens and coins as well and make some pretty decent profits, guys. Bishop had a slammer of a trade. Look at this one. He was looking at the 410 put after that news came out, went ahead and entered this trade. Look at that, 42. Mind you, this is a trade that any budget can afford because this is a good, cheap, and a great risk versus reward, and he ran this bad boy for a killer. Boom, look at that. Ran this all the way to 227, and that's good for 440% profit. That is what I'm talking about, man. And JPM had a great trade, pushing with the trend on the triple Qs, went with that 316 put, entered 97, came out at 170. That's good for some serious cash on the day right there. And I want to close out with this trade right here. This was a fantastic swing trade. Entered in BA. We had some short news that gave the idea of some continued downward pressure, and we went ahead and pulled the trigger on this one. The 205 put, 21 April, entered at 160, trimmed out today at 185, and we're swinging the rest for a little bit more continuation as we have time, and it looks as though that the news is catching. So we're looking to hopefully end up getting the 2X on this one by closing out the week. $100 to $1,000 per day is possible as a Traders War Room market warrior. So quit wasting that money that's not making money and join TWR today. All links are in the description. Hot off the press. Talking about the market here, that the stocks are rallying, making it too hot for shorts, as AMC, GameStop, and Coinbase are the most squeezable by analysts. So definitely, I know there's a lot of meme stock lovers out there, so I give you guys the meme stocks when it pops up. But if you're interested in getting into something, these might be potential. And if you can see a great price to go ahead and get in that gives a great risk versus reward, I say pull the trigger, man. So I'll be looking at AMC, GameStop, and Coinbase as well for pushing in and trying to look for some leap trades on these, as these could possibly explode since they're heavily shorted. Big news on Apple. They're in talks with suppliers to make MacBooks in Thailand, so this will be interesting. There's a lot of negative naysayers with Apple company out there, but Apple's the general of the market, guys, okay? So if anyone can keep things trekking along during adversity, then Apple is the one. So we'll be looking at this, and hopefully they get a little bit of a bounce from investor interest in the potentials of catching new suppliers that could potentially even make their margins grow as far as a business is concerned, because that's the key. You want the margins to increase so that the profitability is there on the underlying balance sheet. And news across the pond, tech drags Hong Kong stocks dollar squeeze as U.S. inflation slows. So the Asian stocks struggled on Thursday, dragged by selling in Hong Kong tech shares while the dollar was under pressure and short-dated bonds were firm as softening U.S. inflation seemed to suggest the U.S. rate hike cycle was nearing its end. Now, we saw a lot of downward pressure, and this is because people were a little scared of the PPI data that's coming out here soon, right? But let the investors digest some of this news and see, and we may get that relief rally bounce that we're looking for from this dramatic dump that we saw at the end of the market session today. So it'll be interesting to see how the market opens tomorrow and how we end up going through the rest of this week after the news of the CPI data with the PPI data is digested. Hot trends. So what you saw today is you saw the market closing lower, all three sectors down, but mainly it was actually trekking towards the upside and pretty well until the fear of the PPI report came out, okay? So the CPI report had everything's juiced and spiked, kind of took a little dump off of some of the investor profit taking. Kane made its way back up, but I told you guys earlier about that 410, 411 area being strong battle zone area, and look at this right here. Not one, but 3 times it went up to that same level, and then finally the PPI fear got into it, and it took it down. But if I was a betting man, I would think we make one more run for it to see if we truly can hold it or not, and that'll be the test. Look at these futures, bright green, okay? So remember, we don't look at futures as what will be. We look at it as what could be, its potential. It gives us a strategy so we can make educated moves. We'll definitely see how we do in pre-market, and then we'll make a decision on what direction we think the market's going to go based off of new data and digestion of the CPI along with the PPI, and hopefully we're able to catch the trend and make some money. Here's your flow, leaning a little bit more bull than bear, but look at that Tesla right there, man. That is a lot of flow to the bear side on Tesla. But if anything, Tesla's resilient, man. Like it trips people up. So I'll be watching Tesla tomorrow. We're gonna break down Tesla's chart tonight, but I'm feeling, kind of froggy, man. I want to go in there and I want to attack Tesla, man. I want to take advantage of some of this volatility that I've been seeing. So I'm going to look for a trade on Tesla as well as, normally looking at SPY and some of the other big tickers as well. Here are your top gainer stocks on the day, and there's a lot of the penny stocks that we're paying attention to, guys. The penny stock market is heating up while the mega caps are kind of being volatile and stuff like that, and market makers are sweeping in to take stop loss zones and stuff like that. The penny stock is starting to heat up, so don't sleep on these penny stocks, man. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on some of these $1 and $2 movers, because a lot of these are pushing 30, 50, even 100% and making some people some money. And here's your top losers. And again, remember, when we look at these top losers, we like the ones that look almost like knee-jerk reactions, okay? Above 25%, we start to get interested in 25% declines because the likelihood of a knee-jerk reaction with a little bit of a fallen knife bounce to make back some of that is high probability. So keep your eye on these ones, especially the ones that are cheaper, and have good fundamentals, and we'll look for potential rejection plays. And for you guys that like those derivatives, I got the options unusual volume, guys. So we're paying attention to these. Pay attention to American Airlines. It had kind of a knee-jerk reaction today, okay? And there's a lot of call volume that's coming into that. American Airlines, when it gets a knee-jerk type reaction, specifically to the downside, it likes to come back, usually in a day or two, and it comes back pretty violently. So definitely it'll be interesting. Pay attention to this because I am, and there's some other ones that we like as well, like the Dallas. We like that. PayPal is interesting, especially since it's been kind of beat up here lately. ATVI, Oracle, we're interested in that. Apple, we're interested in that as well all the time. And we're going to pay attention to some of those charts here in a moment. Here's your top trending stocks, and we're going to pay attention to some of these stock charts when we get to the stocks that I like for trades. A few of these are on here because they're looking potentially short squeezing. Wish is one of those, and you got a few other ones. We're interested in the ones that have the most potential for dramatic pushes or are better risk versus reward. So that's what we're going to focus on when we're looking at the stocks I like to trade and the charts. Stocks I like. All right, now before we get into the chart section, I want to describe my new color scheme and the way I'm laying out my charts. All right, so as you can see, we got three colors. The battle zone area where the fight is going to happen. Okay, this is what we're looking for. It's going to be indicated by the purple lines. This is where we're looking for. It closes above or below that area so that we get follow through to the next target area. As you can see, the high target area is going to be categorized by blue and the low target area is going to be categorized by red. Now, how do you trade this? Okay, equity people that are dealing with shares, this could be a potential move to those levels that you're looking for on a decent push above the battle zone. Now, if you're in derivatives or your options, right, these can be your strike prices for contract selection, staying at the money, in the money, or near that particular target zone as much as you can afford and as much as possible. All right, so now that you got the lay of the land, we're looking at this, okay? Battle zone for SPY, right? We're looking at solid pushes above or below that 406, 407 area, right? With continued follow through on a bull push to go test 409 and 410, and on a bear move to go test that 405, 404 area. Now, 410 to 411 has been notorious for hitting resistance. I showed you on that chart earlier at the very beginning of this video, 1, 2, 3 times, right? So I think if we get the push to the upside, we go retest that. So you might get a little bit further follow through, but we have to expect resistance at the top until we break through and we can go on to the other side. If we don't expect the resistance, then we're going to psych ourselves out and probably get, a trade that's not a good trade. So definitely we're paying attention to the 406, 407 area for the battle zone we're looking for a bull follow through into 409, 410 and a bear follow through into 405 into the 404s. All right, so I put you guys on game to the short side on Bud a few days ago. I'm saying now I think we've gone enough. We cleared the gap, and we're going to probably get a rejection play. So I'm leaning more towards the bull side of this. And, of course, we got the blue zone for the high side right there with the red zone just in case we fail and we get continued slippage. We're watching JD. JD is slipping, guys, and we got the battle zone right here in this $36 range, okay? It hasn't been below this level for a while, and while we got some downward pressure looking towards 33, if we fail this zone, I got a thinking that we're probably going to hit some rejection to go at least retest those upper levels, so I'm leaning more to the bull side on this one, and I'd be looking at $38, $39 for a rejection play. Same kind of idea with BABA, except BABA has held some lower levels recently on this particular trade, but I think that we got a little bit too much slippage to the downside, and it's a fairly popular ticker. So I think that people, investors particularly, will start to see this at the battle zone, and we could get a nice push to the upside. So 97, 98 on the upside potential from rejection play here at the battle zone. But if we fail, we're going to go ahead and ride this to the downside, and we can easily see 88 to 85, no issues if we continue the slippage. American Airlines, we talked about this earlier, man. This was a pretty big knee-jerk reaction, and American Airlines usually likes to react violently to these, as you can see from the last one. And then we consolidated for a little bit after this. Now, what usually happens with these two-step moves, especially with big tickers like American Airlines, you get the bottom and then you bottom out again, and then you start to get the investors thinking, you know what, this is a good place to go ahead and enter in, and then you get the violent push to the upside. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm leaning to the bull side, and I think that this sooner than later is going to pop up from this battle zone area, and we're going to see the retesting of the 14, maybe even $15 range, because their earnings were not that bad, and flights are elevated in price, and they're booked out, man. So things are busy in the airline sectors. We just got to get out of this volatility. With that, I want to give you a free trade alert, specifically because I love me some American Airlines. And here's the trade I'm looking for. I'm going with the bull side of this. I'm looking at American Airlines. We're going to push this all the way out until June. Premiums are super cheap, guys. We're going with the $14 call. Try to get your price in between 55 and 65 if you can. And look at that delta of the theta ratio. That's exactly what I like to see. And the volume is spiked on this. This is what I call a good risk versus reward, specifically for the price. This is going to be a fantastic call, and we're going to take this all the way to the bank. DAL is interesting because they got upcoming earnings. Now, DAL typically doesn't hit as violently as American Airlines does, but I would like to see these guys probably pop up to the upside. And if that happens, you can rest assured that American Airlines will ride some coattails. So what you see is the battle zone here around that $34 range. If we get the weak side of the house, we're going to probably come down to the 33 level before we start to see some support come in. But if we are able to get this strong battle at the zone, we'll probably get the push to the higher side of the house, and 35, maybe even potentially a breakout, dare I say, a breakout in pre-recession areas. But it is possible because Delta Airlines are expected to do fairly well. Not an official alert, but here's two trades I think that you could make some money based off of the battle zone and the direction that DAL goes. And potentially you could make money on both of these going kind of like a modified straddle or strangle. You can make money riding this up and then riding it back down. So these are the ones I'm looking at. We're pushing out till the 19th of May. Give yourself plenty of time. The $37 call looks good, and the $31 put looks good as well for both that increased pressure above the battle zone or the decreased pressure below the battle zone. Tesla, I'm looking to attack Tesla. I think it's dumped enough. I think it's going to start getting some investors' eyes down at this level. And I think that if we get some decent market sentiment with digestion of the CPI and the PPI data, I think that will be able to push to the upside. And Tesla likes to move very violently, and I could see us winning the battle zone here at the 180s and pushing straight past the 183 into 185. So it could give you a dramatic binary type of movement on this particular ticker. So I'll be looking for a trade to the bull side on Tesla. Apple, as I showed you earlier in the alert section, I'm on calls on Apple. I think we find a support here at the battle zone and we push to the upside. They don't call Apple the general of the market for no reason. I think we got some bullish move. We're starting to broaden a little bit, and I think the broadening will hit that rejection point here sooner than later, and we'll push to the upside pretty violently. Wanted to give you guys some penny stocks I'm paying attention to. I like this one right here, POAI. It had a bullish move, and we got some decent price action potential right here. Battle zone looking there at that 35 cents with a push up into 40 cents. And guys, when you look at these penny stocks, think of buying 100 shares or 1,000 shares or even 5,000 shares, right? You move 5 cents and you got some decent shares to go along with that, you're making some pretty decent money, okay? And it's not really, breaking the bank too much, because the likelihood of us falling down to past 30 is low probability, especially on a move like this. So we'll probably get some continued pressure to the upside. If not today, maybe tomorrow. And this will be a decent entry point if we get some nice push. And another penny stock, guys, I'm the penny doctor, okay? We're looking at the battle zone right at 20 cents. And again, we could easily push past 25 cents for a nice 5-cent move. And like I said, you buy 1,000 shares of this, it doesn't break the bank, and a 5-cent move on that is some decent money, okay? And to the downside, we're only looking at a risk of about a 16-cent push on a loss. So you could gain 5 cents very easily. You might lose 4 cents. So it's still a pretty good risk versus reward on this particular trade, and I like this penny stock moving forward. Upcoming events. All right, next class is set, so sign up today on the website. Guys, I'm going to teach you on 23 April at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time how to chart and trade patterns. One of the things that eludes a lot of newer investors is how to get into the trade before the trade makes its move. And one thing that we do through TA is that we look for patterns. And I'm going to show you guys how to chart patterns on multiple time frames and how to find the trades that look really good for potential moves and have great probability of success going both to the bull side and to the bear side. So definitely sign up today. Every purchase receives a recording. And if you can't make it live, no issues. Just make sure you register your email, and I will send you your copy. Next event that we have is the TWR Investment Club is open registration for the Christmas Club. You can copy this address and sign up right here, or links in the description. So basically what we're doing, we take an account of pooled money, we invest in various types of trades, and we distribute the profit and loss evenly. This is perfect for those who want to make money but are struggling to either win or find time. Let TWR do the work for you, and let's make some money together. Sign up at the link for more information, or is in the description. The registration ends 20 April and the club runs from 1 May to 1 December, and we'll liquidate the account on 1 December just in time for Christmas, baby. The market is our war zone and stocks are the battle. Join TWR and let's go to war. Make the market bend the knee in 2023. Join Traders War Room and bow to no one. Let's go to war.